Hello everybody. I don't know if I'm going to make this into a YouTube video because I don't really do YouTube, but I have an incredible game to share with you all. And there are sequences in this game which are incredible. So this is played on my alt account, my approved alt account, by the way. This is an alt account that I have um, I have gotten chess.com to approve. Um, so there is no cheating going on here. This is an approved alt. It is linked to my main account. So on this account, I play openings that I don't normally play to test out ideas. I just like to see what will work, what doesn't, and there's some idea like this game. We started with the Sicilian, and I said, "Look, I've played the closed Sicilian before, but like I've played it over the board, but I haven't really delved into it that much, really. But I've sort of been getting back into this structure recently, where you play g3, bishop g2, and then d3, knight g2, and castle f4. Now, what's the point of this? Well, the main point of this is to start a kingside attack. So what you want to do, or what I want to do, is play h3. I want to play g4. I want to put my knight here. I want to maybe bring my other knight back. I want to play f5, queen e1, queen h4. That's like the point. Now, this game, my opponent plays bishop g4, which is already a weird move. I just play h3. I thought, okay, great. Normally, how you play this is you play rook to b8, h3, b5, trying to go for this knight. Um, Apparently, b5 straight away is a little too quick. You need to play bishop d7 and then b5. And if I play my knight g3, e4, knight c2, and you sort of disrupt my pieces, and like this is a weakness in the future, and you've got like this expansion over here basically, and I think it's all about this d4 square. So instead of that, my opponent puts his bishop on g4 and trades it. We get queen b6. I just sidestep. I think in future I should be playing king h1 because on king h2 this diagonal is could become a weakness. So, I mean, king h2 has its merits because I can go rook h1, which actually definitely benefited me this game playing king h2, but maybe I should play king h1 just for that reason of the diagonal. Computer seems to think that they're pretty close. Prefers king h1 slightly better. Anyway, I go king h2, we get e6, I play g4, and instead of playing knight g3 right away, I'm looking at this, I'm seeing, well, there's potential capture on b2 that could be annoying. I might want to put my bishop on e3 in future. Let me just play c3 so that there's none of this stuff. Then I'll put my knight on g3, my queen here, play f4. Like I sort of wanted to put my bishop on e3 and then do it. He went queen c7. I was like, okay, great. I'm going knight g3. Apparently g5 is already really good. Knight d7 and f5. So just going right away for this makes sense. But instead, I say, let me go knight g3. I want to slowly build my attack. He plays b5. Now I go bishop e3. Obviously, I could just leave the bishop here, but I thought, I feel like connecting the rooks maybe is probably good for me because like if I want to generate this h-file attack, maybe I want to bring this other rook over. So it made sense. It's also like uh, putting pressure on the c5 pawn so that if this pawn ever pushes, be falling with tempo on the rook. So that's another benefit. After this, I connected my rooks. Queen f3. I'm ready to play f5. I'm ready to smash through. He plays b4. I play f5, which is apparently a mistake. I don't really think it's too much of a mistake. Yeah, it only loses about 0.3 in eval, so yeah, this isn't a true mistake at all. Now we see the diagonal coming back to bite me here a little bit. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but if I ever try to move this knight away, this check could be annoying, maybe. But he, for some reason, plays back to e8. Here I considered, like, should I play this? No, then he gets f6. Maybe I should take this way, does it matter? It doesn't matter which way I take because the structure would be the same. Um, Actually, if I take like this, yeah, no, it doesn't matter because there's no infiltration, right? And then I considered if I take and then go here, but he goes here, and then the rook f7, so Ultimately decided, let me go g5, because then I have the option of playing g6. If he trades, I can always take back, and then he'll have massive weaknesses here. For some reason, he just lets me get f6, which apparently is bad. I'm supposed to take e6 here. This is the only move, and then take back, and then after this, it's mate. And if he goes rook f7, trying to go here, just queen g4. And I just guess I just strike with the I thought that this made a lot of sense. This bishop's going to be stuck. He takes first with tempo. Obviously, I can't let my rook get captured, so I move it. He goes back to f8, and now I decide, instead of taking the pawn, let's just go straight, full steam ahead. How is he stopping my attack? My rook coming over, my queen getting in, right? So I go h4. He puts his knight on b4, attacking, and I debated whether I should play bishop f4. It is the best move, and it defends this, but I thought, in the long run, if you think about it, he has to take time to capture this. In doing so, I have enough time to maneuver my pieces after this trade that I should be getting a checkmating attack. Knight here isn't a problem because that allows queen f4. So I go pawn to h5. He takes, I take. Obviously not taking back the f pawn because that would allow f7. Apparently no, f7 is wrong. King h8, because even if I win this piece, I'm still down 4 pawns for a piece. Bishop d2, and then c4, and then I'm never ever getting this pawn back. And this is just a good position, apparently. So instead of that, bishop h3 is the move. But obviously this is scary. You don't really want to allow f7. So my opponent takes back with the h-pawn. I go rook h1. And this position, the engine thinks, is minus 1.5. And as you can see, the best move is this peculiar c4, just saying, look, you can attack, but, like, you can go for this plan, but I'm just going to ignore it, right? Now, what you'll come to realize is that the engine has completely failed to evaluate this position, because, in fact, once we check this line later, you'll see that this actually will turn to equal at some point. So opponent goes here, which I did see as a possibility, but I was like, okay, I just play queen f4. And at this point, my opponent has one and only one move to save the game. They do not find it. They play bishop g7. I play king g1, the only move in the position. I simply want to bring my queen over, go for the checkmate. My opponent could obviously sacrifice a piece, but it does nothing. My queen is defending this. Take, 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 and rook h8 is mate. My opponent tries d5 with the idea of maybe knight f3 checks with some discoveries on this queen, but I just go queen h4, and this is simply game over. I don't even need to take this bishop. If I can take it, but what's the point when this just ends the game on the spot? Queen h7 is going to be checkmate, and after this move d4, I end the game in style. Queen h7, queen to h8, sacrificing the queen, bishop takes, and takes h8 is checkmate on the board. Pawn on f6 covers g7 and e7. Rook delivers checkmate to the king. Now, going back to this position, the only move, I believe... Okay, so this is losing, but instead of z5, my opponent should have tried this knight e7. This makes a lot of sense. You're clearly trying to sacrifice this knight and get rid of this pawn. You have enough pieces now that you can do that. But after fg7 and queen here, it's simply game over. Knight h5, take, take. The king has to run, and in this position, as you can see, the rook will come over. White is up a piece for 2 pawns. Bishop for 2 pawns. They also have the bishop pair, which is so much better than this. Weakened king, it's just bad. Now, in this position here, instead of bishop g7, there's this crazy move, bishop h6, the only move in the position to save the game for the black pieces, sacrificing the bishop. And in this case, I don't even want to take it. You simply sidestep with king g1, opening this attack, and again, one move and only one move, sacrificing the knight. This is some inhuman stuff here. After takes, you now play knight fg4. The rook must come back to h3, the only move. and king f8, rook b2, and the game will go on. In this position, white has a bishop for 3 pawns, and the king is weak, but the position is apparently equal. Now we get to the main event. In this position, the only good move here, the only move that supposedly retains a -1 advantage, c4. And after this king g1 move, the engine seems to think knight g7. But as soon as you play knight g7, it's like, oh, yeah, look at that. Queen g4. Oh, not that. Queen to g4. And uh-oh, this is coming in with checkmate. Then it's like, well, okay, we can't do that. Can we sack our knight? Look at that. It thinks that the knight takes... You saw it was like minus 0.7 for a second. But if you take, after takes, we're still getting our checkmating attack. So you can't do that. Then it's like bishop g7. Well, bishop g7 doesn't do anything. You simply take it. In fact, you could even play bishop f1 first and have an advantage, right? So, the only move actually... Look, see, knight g7 is back again, but it's bad. c3. The computer straight up says, I don't care what you're doing over here. I'm just going to march this pawn down the board. Now, this is very, very tricky, because this pawn is going to promote and it's going to be check, which means you don't have enough time. At first, the computer thinks that knight f5 is the one and only move in this position, but it is not, because after c2, I guess maybe black has a small edge, but it fails to realize the power of this queen to g4 move. Oh, did you see that? The bar dropped to -4, and look at that, now it's all the way back at equal. Now, why would that be? Initially, after this queen g4, it said c2 was winning, but actually, after queen to h3, or h4 for that matter, it's checkmate. It doesn't matter that you can promote this pawn. You can take this, whatever, you can promote. After this move, knight to f1, it is simply going to be checkmate on the board. Queen e3, knight e3, you can sack as much material as possible. Knight e1 apparently only move. Queen to c5 backing up, king f1, queen f2, knight f2, c1, like, give all these checks, knight e1, again the only good move, rook e1 takes, bishop to g7 delaying the next, f6, queen h7, and checkmate. That is why I thought for a second that that was good, because you would just promote. Also, if you take this rook, bishop f1 now is even better, because after takes, it's just unstoppable mate, bishop g7, fg matter, it's going to be the same mate. Instead of that, it's like, oh, actually, how do we stop this? It still thinks that black is completely winning after this move knight f6. Oh, the bar just went back to equal again, because we just simply take back. And now the one and only move in the position, queen to c5. What a move. What does this do exactly? Well, now if we try to go for our queen h4 mate, we simply lose the bishop with check. We have to step here. Of course, if we step here, we get mated. We have to go this way. We've blocked ourselves off. The queen comes here, and it forces the trade, and this is GG on the spot. So we must accept the queen sacrifice. Black does not take back. You're thinking, well, why does that work? We're simply going to go for this checkmate. Now and only now do we play c2, because if we go for this checkmate, it's a completely different story. We've lured the bishop away from the e3 square, and we can simply promote the pawn. Now knight f1 loses to queen takes bishop check, because the bishop was lured away. That bishop was actually protected before, and after the check we came back. But in this case, we have to block the defense, and we're simply down too much material. We don't have our checkmating attack. The queen will come in. We will have to trade queens, and this will be a endgame. Same thing with bishop f1. If we go here, queen f2 check is losing even faster. Instead of that, we must respond with the only move, bishop to f1. Now, we are renewing this threat of going here. We are completely giving away this rook, and it is the only move for... In fact, look, it said, oh, Okay, no, it's my mistake. It's c1 queen. But if you take it, notice how the queening square is b1, and after queen h3, if the queen was on c1, another brilliant move, by the way, because we're hanging the bishop. If the queen was here, they would be able to play some bishop h6. But because they promoted this way, now it's simply checkmate. Therefore, they must promote like this, the only move again. Now if we do this, it's queen c5, but also bishop h6, which is equal, but queen c5 wins. Bishop d4. What is going on? The only move in the position is bishop d4. What in the world? We're sacrificing the rook again because this mating attack is just far too strong. But importantly, this move defends the f6 pawn for the future. Now, you'll notice material is completely equal, so we have enough time to bring the bishop back and renew the threat of queen h4 or queen h3 because this bishop is now no longer protected. This rook can't be captured because queen h4, and it's just game over once again. Black now has to play bishop to h6. The whole point of queening was so that they could block this file with the bishop. And now, once again, the only move in the position, rook takes h6. For some reason, we have to give away the rook. We're giving away two rooks. Again, you can't take this because after... I guess this works still, but queen h4 is faster. It's still going to be checkmate. So black must take this rook. And now, again, why we sacrificed the rook? Well, we needed to remove the knight from the position. The only move for white again. Now, another only move for black. Rook to c1 check. In this position, this is, if we go king f2, which is apparently equal after queen h2, king f3, queen to d2. I haven't actually explored this. Takes. Sacrificing a rook. You can't even take that. Again, this threat of going here and mating. That's why we put this bishop here. This f pawn is key. Without this f pawn, white would be totally lost. And this is just an equal position apparently, despite the fact that there's these checkmating threats looming. Black will be able to get rid of this, and it is 2 pieces for a rook and 2 pawns. No, 3 pawns. Okay, but the far more exciting line and the more testing line is king to g2. Why? Because in this position, black has to take the rook, or apparently e5, which doesn't even work because bishop a7. So again, the only move, rook takes b1, and after we take, queen to c1. Now, this is the end of the sequence. At this point in the sequence, there are 2 moves that are equalizing. One is, well, actually, no, I take it back. Queen to d2 is a mistake. So so never mind. This is the only move once again. Now it doesn't matter whether we play queen h4 or queen h3. They both lead to the same thing, rook to c8. I believe, yeah, so this is the last move in the sequence. Now I don't think it matters. Queen g5, yeah, it's simply a draw. But apparently black has an edge after this move, rook to c8. Why? Well, we don't have queen h6 anymore. And what are we going to do? Well, we have to play either knight e2 or king f3. Now, I believe these will transpose, but apparently after knight e2 and queen g5, king h2, and rook to c1, and bishop e3, only move. No, wrong square, this square. Queen e5, bishop f4, queen takes f6. Black gets rid of the pawn. You take this off the board. You take this off the board, and I believe black will regain this piece. And due to the pawns on the board, this is equal. But the fireworks are not done because instead of that, white is going to play the move king to f3, which is given an accuracy. But trust me, this is far from inaccurate because after this move rook c4, which the engine says is better for black, bishop e3 only move, attacking the queen because again, this pawn on f6 after queen h6, it's simply checkmate. So this is a tightrope. King f3, I believe, would be the better move because black is walking a tightrope. This f pawn is not going to fall off the board. This is going to be a constant threat. Queen d1, only move. King f2, only move. And rook c2, the second brilliant move in this whole sequence. Sacrificing another rook because after takes, knight e2, only move. Black could promote this pawn and have two queens, but after queen h6, there is a checkmate threat, and black is going to have to sacrifice this queen for this knight on e2, after which this is going to be a perpetual check, not even because black is going to pick this pawn up. So instead of that, to keep the advantage, apparently queen e4 is the move. And now we have to play bishop d4, defend our f6 pawn. That's another key move. If black plays e5 after queen c8, it is simply game over. Apparently not even that, it is bishop b2. They lose this important pawn. White has two pieces. So instead of that, now black makes the queen. And you're looking at this, you're telling me black has two queens on the board and white isn't even losing. Queen h6. Like I said, this pawn defended by the bishop defended by the knight, the queen on h6 threatens checkmate, and even though black has two queens, there is no way to prevent this queen from coming to g7. Now, black could accept a repetition here, but after queen f5, knight f4, only move, by the way, every other move loses, knight f4, it looks like this king is getting mated somehow. This king is completely exposed. How are the queens not winning the game? Well, after takes, queen f, all these moves would lead to a repetition. So queen a2 taking another pawn off the board, king g3. It doesn't matter here, queen a3, queen b3. And eventually what's going to happen is queen takes f4, the third brilliant move in this whole sequence, sacrificing the queen. Mind you, this is the second queen sacrifice in this sequence. Remember, queen c5, sacrifice the queen, and now we have queen takes f4, another queen sacrifice on the board. And if you can believe it, black has made three queens in this game, and two of them have been sacrificed. The queen must be taken, and you think, oh, great, we can play e5. Not so fast. Queen h6. There is a checkmate. Oh, but don't we have repetition? No, we don't, because we can play king g3, and this bishop is going to shield the king from the checks eventually after queen d3, bishop e3. The bishop is defended, there are no more checks. Same thing if he played this one, bishop e3, no more checks. Would have to give away. This is simply the queen will return, and or king h7. The queen will get back to this h file and mate the king. Instead of that, black will play queen to d5, and essentially there's nothing really white can do here. They don't have time to come back to h6 because after queen h5, the queen's good. And this is simply a draw, if not better for black. Only black has winning chances despite an extra this pawn being on the board. So white probably has to take this pawn. They could decide instead to maybe try to play on, but leaving this pawn on the board is always scary because this is an outside pass pawn, and you really don't want that. So after takes, g5, I think is probably the best way to make progress. Queen 5 check. You still can't take this bishop, obviously, because after takes here and takes, the queen is lost. You promote another queen, you win the game. So after some more checks, the king is going to be forced onto a square where it will promptly be forked. White will finally lose this pawn, and this position after bishop e3, the only move, by the way, because we need to take this pawn off the board. This is a theoretical draw. White has no pawns, black has 4 pawns. Black will probably lose this pawn, it doesn't really matter. Let's just say king f8, you take this pawn off the board, queen g6. There's simply no winning chances for white. King f3, maybe even f6. Yeah, f6 is the cleanest way to get a draw. You can take this bishop, takes, and this is just easy draw. There's no need to look any further. So after bishop e3, that is it. 28 moves. May I remind you, this was only possible because black had to sacrifice all this. This is inhuman. Stockfish thinks on depth 17 that this is winning for black, but as we show after this king g1, c3, queen here, and take, and queen c5, the computer now says it's completely equal. And what do you know, as we travel down this line of amazing sacrifices, crazy moves, by the way, only moves, the most testing variations, this is best play. Yes, the computer's giving inaccuracies. Yes, it's saying black is better, but this is the most testing line, and it's always going to lead no matter what. Black will get 2 queens on the board. It still doesn't matter. Black's going to have to sacrifice the queen anyway. This is a draw. Black will win the f-pawn by a fork, and this, there is nothing to be had. And yeah, that's it. Black had to find c4, c3, and this queen c5, sacrificing the queen idea. I mean, talk about a crazy engine line. Like, even like this, just the fact that you can ignore this plan completely because you have this move, queen c5, after the sack. You have to sack, by the way. Queen c5. It's crazy. Like, I'm still sat here in disbelief after seeing all these moves, because this is just insanity. Like, queens on the board. 3 brilliant moves in this, yet it's dead drawn. There's nothing to be done. What a freaking game. I'm glad that I wasn't on the receiving end of this, because had I been playing a cheater, they would have just blitzed out all like these crazy moves, and I would have been like, what? Am I not just winning? No. But anyway, instead of that, the opponent, obviously, we saw what they did. They played bishop g7, and they just lost the game. Sacrifice. Hey, I got my own queen sacrifice. Talk about 3 queen sacrifices for black. Or what was it? Yeah, no, 2 queen sacrifices. Queen c5 and then sacking the queen. I got my own, actually. Also sacrificed this way too, but I just saw this one straight away. Yeah. This might be a YouTube video. I don't know. I think this is good content. So for the sake of it, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. This is gonna be probably my first video that I upload in a long time. It's been so long. My first actual genuinely real content too. So yeah, this was a crazy game. Might upload more games like this in the future. I don't know. Subscribe if you want to see more games like this.